So in this section, I want to talk to you about how to use work to help you build a stronger mind. Because a lot of us are day to day works on a 9 to 5 job or whatever. You might be working on your own company, whatever that we are. I feel that a lot of there's this opportunity that is given to us, but we are wasting it. Just only doing work. We are not doing it to strengthen our mind or strengthen ourselves, so that we can take bigger and better challenges in our life and make take our life in a way that are more positive towards our future and the future of others. I feel like that we're losing a very big opportunity we have when we go to work. And another thing I've seen a lot of people that they struggle with work a lot. And this is something I've had struggled with in my as well, that a lot of time when I started to work, I feel overwhelmed, or either maybe you feel like your boss is not treating you well, or your colleagues are not treating you well, or you're not making as much money as you thought that you should be making in this job. So all those things are continually bothering you. And then you can also could be thinking like, if I were to work in this job, am I restricting my career prospects in the future? So you could be questioning that. And some of the things you can question is that is this a dead end job? So there's a whole host of things that during the workday that you think about, and this I feel confuses and victimizes your mind, or make your mind weak. I feel that it makes it weak, because primary reason for that is you're literally thinking all the time, look, you don't have control over these situations that are happening to you, and these situations are continually making you feel as if they're not under your control. So for example, say that if you feel that you're not making enough money in this job, if the reason you continually feel sad about it, or feel depressed about it, or sad, upset about it, is because you don't have the strength within your own mind to go ask for a raise, or leave the job, or take the necessary action. You're so confused by so many other things, like you need money to help your family or whatever. So there's so many things right now that's affecting your mind, preventing it becoming strong. You're actually weakening your mind. More you work, and more you have these thoughts, blaming external things. So I think this is one of the reasons why they continually feel weak, or they can progress in their career. One of the main reasons that they don't take control to what happens to them during work. For example, say that hypothetically, you have a bad boss, a boss that is mean to you. I mean, one way you can simply think, what, I have a bad boss, I have a bad job, this is temporary, blah 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 blah. You can think that this is what I have for now, so I'll just take it and go, right? Go with the flow. The other option that you can think, other option you can think, you can react to your bad boss, make it your life more difficult, just execute your what you think is the right thing to do. Just go about your doing your business the way you think, and you basically tell off your boss when you don't when he's not doing exactly what you wanted to do, right? So you tell them how it is, and you try to correct them. And then if you do it too harshly, like a lot of people want to do it too upfront, and they just blurt out whatever they feel, and then they have a very difficult relationships with their bosses. And that's the second. Then I feel like there's a third option, that essentially if we were to follow that option and have this attitude towards our work, it can have massive improvement in your productivity, and the way you look at work, and the amount of happiness you have in your life, and then most importantly will strengthen your mind. And that's that understanding that is coming from, I attracted all these things, even including if I have a bad boss, including if this place is not paying me enough, right? You said that those are the two problems. So how can you do, like, you probably ask, do, like, how can you say I am the one who attracted a bad boss? Well, technically, didn't you? Who are the one who's continued to work in that position, in that job? If you really had that much of a bad boss, why can't you go work somewhere else? You might now come to me and say, look, I can't find another boss. I can't find another job because I have this and that to do. Yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying. There's another thing that is attached to you that prevented you from yourself moving on to a thing that you like to do. That's where the weakness is deriving from. So you have to now, at this point, you need to settle into one thing. Either, understand you're in a difficult situation. Look, there's other things you need to control, whatever, or take care of. But I have a difficult boss. But at this point, then you can decide. Look, I'm going to use this experience to see how not to be a bad boss in the future. You basically pick and pay attention to what your boss is saying. What is he saying that you don't agree with? What is he saying that you do agree with? Because sometimes when you have a bad boss, it's not all bad, right? Probably maybe 70% bad, 80% bad, not 100% bad. If you have 100% bad, then why are you still there? The reason you're there, at least, partly because you see there's some benefit to being there, right? So boss might have something. So even if boss doesn't have any benefit, see what you shouldn't do as a boss when you do become a boss. You can at least learn how to do that. Another thing you can learn how to be able to take other people's shit. Learn how to be able to do that. I know not everybody in your life will treat you the correct way, or the way you think is right. The world didn't promise you for any of these things when you're born, right? You are the one who were born, and you're the one who's participating in these experiences. If it's that bad, if your boss is that bad, go find another boss. Go find another job, right? But we cannot do that. So strength doesn't come from because our mind is still attached to other things. But at least be clear about why the benefits you can take from it. As long you're putting your 100% to the job you're doing, then you don't need to feel bad even what your boss say, right? That's another aspect that I noticed that people have a hard time understanding, is that if you're already continually putting your 100% to your work, then there is no reason for you to feel guilty when your boss picks on you. Yeah, the only reason you should feel guilty if you're not putting your 100% and you're not delivering what you're saying. So maybe if you're not delivering what you're saying, maybe you need to start thinking about only say what you're going to deliver. So that way there's no discrepancy between what you say versus what you do. There's not going to be conflict. That event's not going to make you feel victim. You will not judge yourself by the fact that you didn't accomplish with what you said what you're going to do. So reduce the amount of things that you will promise you will do if you cannot do them, right? Reduce the amount, build it up to the amount of things you can do. Don't go just blurt out just to please somebody else that you will be able to do this and that. This is something I'm telling you that I ran into this issue. I was a people pleaser, so I wanted to always make sure that I delivered whatever they asked me to do. I was like, yeah, I'll do it, and I did, and I realized I putting myself in a very difficult situation, and that ended up making my people who I work with difficult situation, because I couldn't deliver the things on time because I was just burning myself up doing these things. So I ask you, why you have to do this. If you do have a not good of a job, just give your 100%. Why are you already giving? If you're getting 100%, then why do you have to give any more? You're just going to burn yourself out and just going to have a difficult life, right? If you're putting 100%, that means you're going to reduce the amount of time you're going to put on everything else, right? Be that your family, be that whatever you like to do. So do whatever you can, other than if anything else comes in and does something to you, then you can control it. You have given your 100%. Your boss cannot Your boss can't expect you to put more than 100%, and I don't think that's fair. If you're coming and enjoying the work and putting more than 100%, that's enjoyment, that's your creativity, go for it. That's, I wish, so everybody finds their work and they can do that. But if you have a difficult time at work and you feel overwhelmed or you feel stressed out by it, as long as you're putting your 100%, then you have nothing to worry about. And if you're not putting your 100%, then that's okay as well. Understand, sometimes you're not able to put 100%, right? It's a fair thing. What if you don't have enough sleep, you're taking care of a kid, or you're depressed about something, be anything, right? But the thing is, when these things are bothering us, how can you expect to put 100%? Is that fair for your boss to ask that? If your boss doesn't understand that, then is that the right boss that you should follow? You know what I mean? So ask these things from your own self, then you will get the clarity, and they will develop your mind to be a lot more stronger than it is, because now you're developing your mind the right way, not just basically artificially hardening your mind by putting your mind in a difficult situation. You're hardening and strengthening the mind with reason, and then every time you struggle in your life, where you realize what's the right way to do, this way you build true courage. Courage is what? Doing the right thing no matter the outcome. Focus on building your strength the courage way, the courage method, right? Develop courage that way, develop strength with that way. As long as you're saying and doing the best thing you can do with the information that is available to you to this time, act the best way. Act in a way that benefits yourself and the others. Don't do just the things that benefit you, because at the end of the day, later on, you will feel guilty. You feel like you did the wrong thing, and then you need to that will weaken your mind. So if you think something is right to do it regardless of the outcome, because after that, at the end of the day, you have nothing to worry about. If anybody asks you, did you do the right thing? Yes. This way of thinking has helped me a lot. So even when I go to talk to somebody, I can explain to them, this is what I was thinking, this is other things I was looking at, and this is what I thought it was the right thing to do. I feel like a lot of us don't know how to say what we want to say, because we hide ourselves in this guise, because sometimes we don't feel like we're doing the right thing. We are so conflicted within, then we feel so weak within, because we are always going back and forth. But what you have to always remember, if you're putting 100% to your work, you have nothing to worry about. Doesn't mean that you shouldn't put more than 100%. What I'm saying is that don't need to put 100% if it's not necessary. Leave time to enjoy other things in your life. What I mean is not purpose to go enjoy other things in life because you have your work too. But what I'm saying is understand that there's not just about work. Work is another thing you do to sustain your life, right? So if you just let that overwhelm your life, it's not going to be worth it. Come to understanding, your boss or whoever who's waiting for your work to be done is another person who's just waiting to get their work done and move on with their life. They're not there to make your life difficult. If I was a boss, why would I make my workers' life difficult unnecessarily? It gives me no value to me. So it's better for me to benefit their life and improve their skills and make them a little happy, so I'll get my work faster, right? Look at it this way about life, and it will give you a lot of strength. And also understand, that some of us don't want to work and things like that, but think about how many people had to wake up in the morning, say bye to their loved ones and come to their work and perform the things they have to in order for you to eat the food you eat, in order to go to the school you go to, in order to go to the traveling, the transportation, the bus drivers, all that. How many people involved in your day-to-day maintenance of your life, even people who brings you food, the groceries and the water and the electricity. There's millions of people who are involved to give you the sustenance you need in your life. Maybe they're not doing it directly, but they are part of it, right? So if they are not taking their actions, well, then you won't have what you need. So if you're not taking the and playing the part the best way you can, then you need to start to think about, maybe I need to start doing my part to the society. And that's exactly what I'm saying. It's, do the best part that you can. If you can, and that's okay as well. Be comfortable with understanding certain things you're not able to do. Be okay with that. You're not able to, sometimes when you, like I said, when you get stressed out, when you're depressed, when you're sick, you don't need to go 100%. Calm down, relax a bit, and then go back. And another way I feel like that's how you can look at the world and the work world, is, it does actually, when more you work, it does make you a stronger with your mind. Like, if you're, depending the type of work you are participating and things like that, that it does bring a level of strength and a level of sophistication to your mind that if a person is not working, that they won't be able to experience. So those who are not doing anything that are mentally intensive during their work and things like that, and that's okay. I mean, do whatever. What I recommend you do is, do whatever you like. And if you're doing what you like, why change it? Just continue to do it and experience the beauty in life in that way. And if you don't like what you're doing, maybe reduce the thing right away. If you can switch a job or anything like that, reduce the thing what you don't like to do and start focusing on doing things you like to do, like watch more movies or whatever you like to do. You know what I mean? I feel like that's one of the part of this strengthening your mind, is that being able to comfortably push away, right, something that you don't like. That a lot of people, we struggle with that. We have a hard time pushing away things that we don't like because we continually tell ourselves that we are quitters and whatnot, right? But if you were to look at it this way, instead of thinking you're calling yourself a quitter, why don't you just look at the world as a more of an experimenter? Try experimenting different things you like to do, and once you figure out exactly what you like to do, go do it more, right? I think that would make a lot more sense than just start something and then continue doing until you completely exhaust and hurt yourself, and then call it it quits. Then you don't need to live by these like artificial created phrases and synthetic things that are doesn't need to be followed by. Understand strengthening of the mind coming from the be able to have that clarity in your life, not just following things for just following sake, doing what you think is more important and shedding everything that you don't need. And the way I feel you need to do that is be clarify about what you want to do. That's one aspect of it. But being able to push away, be okay with saying no to things, right? I know there's other things that talk about being able to, that's the one of the easiest way you can start developing the mind, right? Some of the work, if you don't want to do, say no to it, right? Be okay. What I'm saying is don't say no to all the work that your boss is giving. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that say no to things that if you're not able to take on, just because you want to please your ego, don't take them on. Take on whatever you can. Take on whatever you can and just do it really well. That way you do build proficiency and you'll be able to master things at a much faster rate. Don't fill your life just because you want to be busy. This is the disease that I've seen among a lot of people who are working. They try to be busy for busy's sake, and sometimes when they say they're busy, they're not even busy. What they're saying is that they're just doing other stuff while they're doing work. So they consider themselves busy. No, you're not busy. You're just procrastinating during work. Doing other things that are not even relevant to work. No, if you're not doing anything during work that is important, that doesn't help you, go for a walk, right? Read something different. But either way, what I'm saying is that do whatever you like to do at the same time. The work doesn't need to be always a mental torturous activity. Use this experience to develop a stronger mind. Use this experience to have a more variety of experiences, more wider range of experiences, and go into these experiences as an experimenter rather than a thing that you just have to put up with. I think that attitude kind of attracts a lot of that, more of that, put up with experiences that you need to deal with. So if you want to create more of the experiences that you want to, feel, strong or fulfilled when you do, find the aspect of the work that you find fulfilling. If there's nothing fulfilling about your work, and then, find things that, you could be find fulfilling, or come home and do things that were fulfilling. But sometimes I know, you can't control all the circumstances, but what you can control at the end of the day is what you think about the work, right? Think about the work. This is something, if you really have no choice, think about this is what I have to do. So right now I'm learning, the areas of what I don't like to learn, and also don't want to be participating, and just think that, and think, everybody's in their life have to do things that they don't need to necessarily do. It is a necessity. Imagine like the people who are, who are working in the food service industry. Maybe they don't want to work in there forever, but for them they're doing what they think is right. But maybe it's just a temporary thing. But get the most what you can from that experience. Don't let it go to waste. Don't just say this is something I just have to put up. No, just use that experience as a training program, a very in-depth, intense training program. And when I was working at Oracle, it was very difficult work, especially me. I graduated from psychology and studied that stuff all that time. And then when I went to Oracle, it was a huge technical company. All I needed to learn about technical and like all these things I never about databases and things that I never knew about before. So it was a very difficult experience. But the way I looked at it, I was thinking, what? It's essentially I'm going to MIT, and I'm getting paid for it. So that's essentially how I looked at it, and that helped me a lot. Actually, it helped me a lot to become actually one of the best agents that was there working at that time. That mindset, because I went to that student mindset, I try to maximize my experience, right? Not only I got paid, not only I got to work on and have this experience in my resume, I got paid for it. So not a lot of people can appreciate that. So that's what I'm saying. If you were to look at your work in a little bit of different way, you might be able to get a lot more out of it. And if you want to be a CEO, if you want to be an entrepreneur one day, sometimes these skills that you're practicing and learning might come in handy, and then you will have a much easier time building a company that is more beneficial for others and yourself. So wouldn't you want that? So strengthen your mind with these things, and you will find a lot of value. So prioritize always, like I always say, keep your mind free. Focus on strengthening the mind. Use all experiences that happens to you, strengthen your mind. Don't let go of experiences thinking you're running away just to that we don't want to deal with it. Deal with it head on. Experience it, sink into it, learn the best you can from these experiences. Once you're done with it, thank it and let it go. Once you don't have use for it, why are you keeping it around? That's illogical. So do that and see how it goes. If it works, it is great. But if it doesn't, try another tactic, try another thing, experiment with life, and you will see where you want to go. So follow to your truths. I'm out.